This is in response to another question that I had about atheists going to hell.
Now, atheists get sent to high school just like everybody else. Well, what did you mean by hell? Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. Today we're looking at Linda Joy Crutcher and what she has to say about atheists going to hell. Now, let me say that I kind of like this lady, or at least from what I've seen of her in this video. I don't exactly agree with her, obviously, or I wouldn't be making a response, but she does seem to mean well, and not in that force her beliefs on you for your own good kind of way. Ordinarily, I wouldn't respond to someone like that, because my mission these days is to keep religion out of people's lives when it's unwelcome. But for some reason, this video struck a chord. Maybe because hell is so often used as a boogeyman to scare people into obedience, and regardless of her stance on the matter, I felt it needed addressing.
The Christ is a level of mind that carries within that mind the ability to unconditionally love, accept, and forgive, like the God of your understanding.
Does this sound somehow more Zen to anybody else, rather than Christian? State of mind, level of understanding? Okay, unconditional love is a bit more Abrahamic, but still. And while we're on the subject, I don't think that love should ever be unconditional. It doesn't necessarily have to be earned, but it can definitely be lost through things like betrayal or violence. Love's presence or absence doesn't necessarily have to mandate your behavior toward that person, but dictating that your emotions should conform to a certain mold is, I think, more than a little unreasonable.
There are many atheists who demonstrate this mind, live and function in the reality of this mind, and are kind, loving, giving, generous souls.
I don't know whether she means soul literally, like some sort of ghost spirit that is temporarily inhabiting a meat robot, or if she's being figurative and just means a person's character. But it doesn't really matter. The fact that she's not automatically throwing atheists under the bus for being non-believers tells me that peaceful coexistence between atheists and theists is possible, despite our disagreements. It means that I'm not wasting my time making these videos, that I could reach believers. I don't mean I reached her specifically, of course. I speak only of the potential.
This is the Christ reality, is being and demonstrating the highest of oneself, loving and accepting all people, regardless of their paths and walk in life, their color, their belief systems.
And this is where it breaks down, gets inconsistent, almost borders on hypocrisy, but it seems unintentional. Because you can't respect people of all skin colors and respect everybody's walk in life or belief system when far too many of those belief systems are racist as fuck, or have quite horrible feuds up to and including violent expressions of those sentiments with other religious paths. Like it or not, if you truly respect people, eventually you'll have to pick a side, presumably the side that's on the defensive, rather than siding with the folks persecuting them. In fact, Matthew 5:9, Jesus says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." But when there's already conflict, can peace be achieved without confrontation? I know there's a quote about turning the other cheek, and sure, maybe you shouldn't hit back, but it seems to me that there's nothing wrong with throwing up a block to keep your cheek from getting slugged.
So, on the other hand, there are many Christians who are extremely judgmental, rejecting of their fellow humanity, unloving and unkind, and not demonstrating in a godlike manner or in a Christ-like manner that was depicted by Jesus.
I don't know how Jesus would have reacted to, say, gay marriage or birth control, but that's actually beside the point. It's statements like this that make me think that this lady's okay. Like I said, I see some flaws in her arguments, as I've already pointed out, but she's willing to call out her fellow theists when they're being jerks, and that's hard to ignore because it's so rare. Even when a Christian genuinely feels this way, it's difficult to get them to say it publicly instead of one-on-one, difficult to get them to speak out. So many of them have claimed, essentially, that they're more loyal to their fellows than they are to kindness and tolerance. But Linda here has said it in a very public manner. Maybe not to very many subscribers, but that too is beside the point. As much as I disagree with her, I'm also a little proud of her, such a rare breed of Christian. If they can't be atheists, at least let them be more like her, I say.
So I would ask that all of you kind of think twice about your judgments and what you're saying before you start condemning others.
And while I agree, I see no reason why we need religion for this. In fact, as has been pointed out many times by many people, if your religion is the only thing holding you back from hurting people, that says nothing flattering about your character. Of course, you'll hear a lot of religious people use our good behavior as an excuse to tell us atheists we really do believe in God, or that he works through us despite our disbelief, because we're not all on murderous rampages or cheating people out of their life savings, which, ironically, does describe a lot of religious people we could name. If Linda here wants to say that being nice makes you Christ-like, okay, just so long as being so involves neither dogma nor unprovoked supernatural claims, I guess I won't object to the description. I'm not saying I like it, but I've been called worse.
I think we should look at the demonstration of what people say and do and how they behave in terms of humanity and each other. And that'll give us an indication about how Christ-like they actually are and where they might end up after death. So thanks for listening. Bye-bye now.
And now we're back to disagreeing. Where we go after we die is where they bury us, or scatter our ashes, or, I suppose, have us stuffed and mounted, or they eat us. I don't know. I hope nobody does that, 'cause ew. Still, I have to say, finding even just this smidgen of common ground with a theist when it comes to matters spiritual is kinda nice. It can get too easy for people on both sides of the atheism-religion divide to see everybody as the enemy, to become dogmatic about it. But as I've been saying, my purpose in these debates have shifted a bit in the last few years, from simply opposing religion because I think it has no basis in reality, to keeping religion out of people's business. And this works for the religious as well. I doubt a Buddhist wants to be told to worship Thor or a Christian made to behave like a Hindu. As long as your religion isn't making life worse for someone against their wishes, I have no reason to object. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please, think.